Be talking about our benchmark, describe the basic differences between physical weathering and erosion. Our success criteria for today is I can describe examples of erosion. What you're going to be doing is you have in front of you a sheet of examples of changes to Earth's surface. And you're going to work with your shoulder partner to determine whether or not these are examples of erosion. Before you get started with that, you have your graphic organizer. So the first thing I want you to do before you turn and talk, I want you to think, and then I want you to write at the top, what is erosion? How do you know if something is an example of erosion? So you are thinking and writing at the top of your graphic organizer a definition for erosion. Give me a thumbs up. All right. Now that you've thought about a definition for erosion and you've written a definition for erosion, I want you to turn and talk with your shoulder partners, and I want you to tell them your definition of erosion.
Erosion is a process of changing the earth.
Okay, so can you tell us a little more specifically about how erosion is changing?
Like it could be with gravity, water, and like soil and stuff.
Okay, so those are some good examples, but I want you to think about specifically how is it being changed. So those were examples. Brady, what do you think we could add on to Ruby's thinking here about how erosion changes Earth's surface?
It's changing it because it's moving the minerals to a different place.
Okay, so Ruby, what could we add on to what you wrote then?
Which moves minerals to different.
Okay, so now that you and your partner have agreed upon a definition for erosion, what I want you to do is I want you to look at this list here. You and your partner to decide which examples are examples of erosion. If you look at your graphic organizer, you're going to write the example, what is happening in the example, is it erosion, and how do you know? What clues are telling you that it is erosion? And we talked about this yesterday when we were talking about weathering. We talked about some words that tell us it's weathering, and today we're looking for what are some words that tell us that it is erosion. But I want you using your graphic organizer to tell me what evidence do you have that it is erosion or that it is not erosion. For each one, make sure you have all 4 columns filled out as you're talking with your shoulder partner. Give me a thumbs. We have the letter of our example, what is happening, whether it's erosion, and then what is the clue word that tells us that it is erosion. At the bottom of your graphic organizer, you have sentence stems that you can use in your conversation. This is or is not erosion because the material is being what? This example shows. I noticed that. So those are some of the sentence stems you can use as you're discussing with your partner. You're thinking about whether the examples are erosion.
For B, for C, I did breaking down. That's like weathering, so I put no. Okay. For B, for what is happening, I said rocks worn down, and I didn't think that was erosion because worn down, that's not being moved by the erosion. That's just being worn down. It's not going anywhere. I think D, a huge boulder transported by a glacier is erosion because it says like transporting, and erosion is just like moving things.
Thesis for what is happening, and I said no, it is not erosion. How do I know? The key word is breaking into.
I'm just listening to what I said for I. Okay. For I put for what is happening, soil being washed into the ocean. I think that is erosion because it says washed into the ocean. Yeah. That's being moved into the ocean.
Yeah, that's.
All right. So now that you and your partner have gone through and you've discussed your examples of erosion, you've decided whether each one is an example of erosion, how you know it's an example of erosion. Now what you're going to do is you're going to bring it all together to write one statement here about erosion. So you're going to use your sentence stems to do this. You're going to start first with erosion is. Tell me the definition of erosion that you came up with. An example of this is pull one of the examples from your list that you went through with your partner. This is an example of erosion because tell me what is happening to the material in that example. And this shows that the material is, what are we looking for? What's our key clue words that tell us something is erosion? Ask me your questions. Batu.
So, like, do we have to copy this?
It does not have to be exactly in these words, but if you are struggling and you need some words, here are your sentence stems. As long as you answer these basic questions, you tell me the definition, you refer to an example, you tell me what's happening in that example, and tell me why that example is erosion.